On today's episode of the Mark Titus Show, Adrian Wojnarowski is done. Gone. Over. Time is not an endless supply. Woj, that's what his statement said. He put out a statement that his father was a factory worker. He put the number 30 at the end of it. A lot of bullshit that no one really completely understood. But the long story short is that Adrian Wojnarowski is retiring. This is massive news in my world. One, because if you've listened to this show at all and Woj's name has been in the news at all, you have heard me go on a rant about this man. Surely. I am among, I don't know if I'm number one, but I might be the number one Woj hater in basketball media. I think he, more so than any other person that covers the sport of basketball, he has been a cancer on the sport, the entire sport, more than any other person. Both in the way people treat news, him drawing a divide, him wedging a divide between college and the NBA. All of it, like just the way he covered, he ruined the draft. There's a lot of reasons. If you listen to the show, you know how I feel about him. But he's retiring from the Scoops game, and I think it's a great day for that reason. The problem, though, is he is entering the college basketball world, a world that he has relentlessly shit on his entire life, or his entire career, as far as I know. Every time a topic comes up about college basketball, Adrian Wojnarowski is quick to be like, no. You kids go sit over there. No one gives a fuck about college basketball. America's an NBA country, and no one gives a damn about college basketball. Now he's stepping into college basketball, so see how that works. Why would he do this? What is a GM role? A lot of people have that response. They're like, what the hell is a GM role? I didn't know college teams had GMs. They do. GMs are a thing in college basketball, and he certainly is not the first GM in college basketball. This is a thing that's been going on for a few years now, since the transfer portal. But yeah, I guess I got to talk about Woj. I've positioned myself as a Woj hater, and my fight is over now. Woj is out of the NBA media for now. We'll see how long that actually lasts. In other news, in college basketball world, Baylor and Gonzaga are opening the season playing each other in Spokane. I'm so fired up for that. Rematch of the 21 national championship, which wasn't in the end that great of a game, even though the hype was through the roof for that one. Super fired up about that. The South is – this is catching my attention too. The NIL stuff going on with the SEC is wild right now, and a lot of it is football related, as it more often than not is, with the SEC especially. But Arkansas's AD is proposing, just like he's straight up just being like, I need 10,000 families in the state of Arkansas to give us $100 a month to fund our NIL, just straight up asking for money in that regard. Tennessee this week, news breaks that Tennessee football is going to raise their ticket prices, and they are very openly, like a restaurant post-COVID, saying we're just tacking on fees on the end just for shits, just for like the back of the I think they did call it a back of the kitchen fee, and everyone's like, what the hell is that? And you're like, don't ask questions. We're just going to raise prices. We're going to give the money to NIL. Georgia's governor is getting a little loose with, like, I'm going to sign these executive orders about college sports. It's fucking crazy, but I want to talk about that a little bit, maybe some Pac-12 realignment. Practice starts next week, though, so there's only a few more off-season shows to go, and then we're going to get ramped up. John Fanta, John Rothstein, the two big Johns in college basketball media, had boots on the ground in Piscataway, and that got the juices flowing. Because we just talked about that last week, how Blue Ribbon Yearbook, no respect for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. The two big Johns in college basketball media are saying the exact opposite, and it got my juices flowing seeing that. So another hodgepodge show, but there's a lot to talk about. We'll do our best to hit all of it. Coming up. All right, Tate. So Woj retired. But also didn't. Woj did a career pivot, I guess.
Career change.
News. It's a career change.
Midlife crisis.
It's not really retiring. He's like, his statement was, it said, time is not an endless supply, and I want to use it doing more meaningful things. And then we then immediately find out the more meaningful things is offering $10,000 to 17-year-olds to play at St. Bonaventure, which, is his prerogative, and it's his alma mater. I'm sure he does have a fondness for the place, and it will be less work than the work he was doing. But that seems to be the news in the basketball world, is that Woj is out, and I, for one, could not be happier. I have been as anti-Scoops of a human being as there could possibly be. Woj has been at the top of my list because it goes beyond just like the industry. I think the Scoops guys, and I've said this a million times, I'm going to say it 1,000,001, I think the Scoops guys have like an air of self-importance that is just like unbecoming. We saw that with Adam Schefter's statement on Woj retiring, where it's just like, holy shit, are like you would have thought like Woj like won like 5 medals of honor somehow and just died or something. The way he's like reporting, no one understands this job and he wants to finally get his life back, and it's like, God damn, you're tweeting, you're taking text.
No, you're diminishing.
You're taking texts from agents, copying them, pasting them into Twitter, and hitting send. It's just like have like a little, like if you had and this is why it's not all Scoops guys, because like some of the others, there are Scoops guys out there that are like, yeah, this job's fucking stupid, but like, I do know some people, so whatever. And I'm like, we don't really need you to tweet. But at the same time, as long as you don't take yourself super seriously, I'm not going to get that upset about it. Woj, I've always had a problem with, because number one, I think he broke NBA discourse. I think you can pinpoint the moment in time where like I personally just stopped having fun, like engaging with NBA discussions, and it's the rise of Woj. It's like the rise of Woj. Number two, the draft was one of my favorite nights of basketball. It was college basketball and NBA. One of the few nights they come together, both communities. College fans wanted to see their stars off. NBA fans wanted to see the future. It was like all eyes are locked in on the draft. Completely ruined by one man.
He did.
And then there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff, getting guys fired at ESPN to make room for himself, actively trying to squash people's careers because he sees them as competitors, even though he's on the same team as them. It's akin to like fucking LeBron like blocking Austin Reeves' shot and saying, it should be my shot, and you're just like, what are you doing? I just know too much about the guy behind the scenes that I'm like, and which again would not bother me, because I think like it's a cutthroat business. Like you got to do what you can to get ahead. I do think like fucking over your own teammates is crazy. It's something he chose to do, whatever. It's really like the end of the day where Woj gets treated like he's a good dude. That's the kind of stuff where I just got to a point where I was like, I think I have to like actively go on a crusade against this guy, and that's been my identity. The Woj world the last couple of years, and now here we are. It's done.
I've known Titus for about 6 months now, and there's people he likes, there's people he dislikes. There's only one person I've heard you talk about that I can like feel the temperature rise in the room.
Yeah,
you hate this guy.
Yeah, I mean, like I don't want to like he was in the office, and I didn't want to like punch him in the face. It's just like I can't sugar. Like if you ask me how I feel about him, I'm like, I think he has demonstrably made the sport of basketball worse. And there are a lot of people that disagree with me. I'm sure someone's gonna like the Cody or whoever else is going to clip this up, tweet it out. The mentions are going to be flooded with like, you're a fucking bozo. You wish if you work 10,000 years, you'll never be able to sniff Woj's jock. You're just jealous, all that sort of thing. Yeah.
My question here is this though. So I get all the reasons you hate him. Was he doing his job? Or are you saying that
my issue and the reason I turned the temperature up is because he was there. There are many times, and I just kind of know too much. I know too many stories behind the scenes. There are many times where he goes out of his way to fuck over other people. That again, it's not competitors. This is not him saying, "I'm gonna fuck over. I'm gonna beat Shams to a scoop." That's understandable. That's competition. It was like it's you come to me and you're like, I have a scoop, and then I'm like, you don't have a scoop. I just took that fucking scoop. You shut the fuck up. And then if you dare tweet out something without running it by me, I'm gonna beat your fucking ass. Like it's like that whole attitude rubbed me the wrong way.
I think that's really important to get out. Is that you have more reasons than just like I hate that he ruined the NBA draft. The NBA draft used to be so sweet. Now it's just you can get on Twitter and see it.
Right.
But you're saying that there's other things that you know about Woj that have led you to get so.
Again, like I don't know if I would care so much if we treated him like he was like Michael Jordan, where it's like, listen, MJ's a dickhead. He's a fucking dickhead, but he's like a competitor.
He does what it takes
to win.
Yep.
It's the opposite, where the Rachel Nichols, Maria Taylor thing goes down, and Woj is like, his quote was, Rachel Nichols is a bad teammate. And I'm like, bad teammate? You call other people bad teammate? It's shit like that just like, I don't know. It's hard not to be set off by it.
Draymond Green calling people a hothead.
Yeah, exactly.
He's got to get his cool.
Exactly. And so, it's never been like a personal thing. I think people, every time I ran on him, there are people that are just like, God damn, dude, like he fuck your girl. Like, why are you so upset about it? And it's like, I think it's just like, I know too much. That's all there is to say. And it's never really affected me personally. Like I said, when he was in the office, I wasn't like, I want to go beat his fucking ass. Mm-hmm. It's just when Woj becomes a talking point, I can't not like, I can't like sit back and let people just like shower him with praise when I'm like, this guy is not who you think. If everyone had like an accurate representation of who he was, like I said, like it was an MJ or Kobe thing where it's like fiery competitor, could be tough to work with, but he demanded greatness out of other people. If it was that, I don't think I would care as much. But it was always like, this dude's calling other people bad. This dude's like,
it's fair.
This dude's talking about like how you got to treat people right and all that. Like you see people as a commodity. You're like the worst. You treat people aren't even people to you. They're just like an information machine. It's crazy. And I go crazy because then everyone's like, Woj bomb. He did it again. And I'm like, what? He tweeted something out 5 seconds before.
Let's play a quick exercise of winners, losers. I'm going to name something. You tell me if they're a winner or loser from Woj's news.
Mm-hmm.
Mark Titus. From the news yesterday, did you win or lose?
I feel like I win. My enjoyment of the NBA will definitely go up.
Mm-hmm.
That there's no question about that, and I'm excited about that. I am worried about like college. Woj hates college basketball. Now he's
next topic. Is college basketball a winner or a loser?
I don't know. Now we have an enemy within our midst.
But he's all in.
But also he's it's not. He's at St. Bonaventure being the GM.
Is that his dream job?
Is
so he
scouring the transfer portal for
his alma mater though. Don't just say St. Bonaventure. It's one thing.
It is his alma mater. That matters. That does matter.
So my question is Woj? I think he just lived the American dream, in my opinion. Worked his dick off. Let's not say he didn't. He worked his dick off, got to the top of his profession, made a fuck ton of money, and now is saying, okay, I don't want to put in as much hours, but I want to do something that interests me. I'm gonna go.
I mean, like as far as that goes, yeah, of course. He kind of created an industry. It's a completely unnecessary industry. And again, I'll stop. This is the point where I'll stop and acknowledge the people, because every time I do this, they're like, "Who are you to say it's an unnecessary industry? Your job is unnecessary." I don't say my job isn't unnecessary. When I quit this job, fucking everyone listening and watching, you have every right to fucking clown me if I put out a statement that's like, My parents were but humble teachers, salt of the earth people, doing a whole goddamn long thing about time being an endless. When I quit this job, I'm just gonna quit the job. Mm-hmm. I'm just gonna be like, all right, I'm old, I'm done, I'm out. See you guys. Thanks for everything. So I think that's my issue. Is like, what the fuck? What are we doing? I feel like I'm going crazy. I feel like the emperor doesn't have pants on, and I'm not the only guy. There are a lot of people that are that way, and I saw. Anytime Woj is in the news, my mentions are flooded. Yeah. People are just like, I'm on your side, whatever. But that's how it started. That's where I got like the rise was like I would witness the way people would treat Woj, and I felt like I was noticing the emperor's not wearing pants, and I'm just fucking screaming like, what are we doing, dude? What are we? Did this guy? You're letting this guy ruin the NBA? What are we doing?
So you're telling me though that if you got to the very top, and we've talked to it, like this is like Gary Payton last week. He is coaching community college. If you got to the very top and had so much money that it didn't matter anymore, you would just, when it's time to step away, you'd step away, or would you go coach?
No, I mean that part of it's fine, but I do find it funny that like he's not really a college like he's very openly like not a college basketball guy. Yeah. Now he's like got to coach college or GM college basketball, which is a role. I think that's like I said at the top. That's become like a talking point in the last few days. Is what GM is that? What is that? Is that even a real thing? It is a thing now that
with NIL it is.
NIL and the transfer portal, these coaches want someone on staff whose full-time job is like looking over what the roster is going to look like in the future, scouting other players to maybe get in a portal if they enter the portal, all that sort of stuff.
Who do you want as your GM of your college? Like, do you want a smart guy? Like, I think Woj is going to be on top of it, numbers-wise, information-wise, or college basketball is all about getting dudes. Like, does he carry name recognition to these 18, 19-year-old
I'm
kids?
sure he does, but is it the right kind of – is it like I want to be in that mix? Like Joe Biden carries name recognition.
Exactly. That's good.
Like, I mean, like just because you know a guy, does that mean you're like, I want to go – like he's cool. I think he's cool. I mess with it, like all that sort of like. There's
17-year-olds in high school aren't making decisions. Like I would go play for Penny Hardaway, or I'd go
Penny Hardaway's cool as fuck.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Coach Cal can get me to the league.
Cool as fuck. Yeah,
Woj is good.
Woj like I don't. But it is St. Bonaventure, and it's like what really are the expectations of
So do you think he's trying to move up, or is he trying to? Is this his retirement job, or is he? Are we going to look up in 4 years and see him as the GM of the Knicks? Like.
I think the most likely scenario is that Woj, This is a semi-retirement role. He's going back to his alma mater. He just wants to like stay involved with basketball, do something, but he wants to do it with less stress and whatever. All the things Adam Schefter said as he was fighting back tears, and recounting the tours of service that Woj had in the Scoops game. I think all that's true, but I think the most likely thing is that he realizes that he misses the Scoops game, and he'll start like just tweet. He'll start sprinkling out stuff.
He's not giving his last scoop was like Isaac Okoro of the Cavs. Like like has he given his last scoop?
No, there's no way. He's gonna want to feed his ego, and his ego can't be fed by offering again.
Yeah, like roster
five
management
grand to $5 grand to like a 17-year-old and
setting up recruiting weekends
in New York. So
young Scoops guys have to be thrilled though, right?
I would imagine so. Yeah, there's gonna be
like the guy in his prime just retired.
Shams is the obvious winner.
There's gotta be
also I don't know. What if Shams isn't a winner? What if he needed? They needed each other. He needed Woj to push him.
Magic needed Larry.
But that's why, like, not to beat a dead horse, but the difference between Shams and Woj to me is that Shams is just a fucking robot. And like, yeah, I don't love the Scoops. I don't love this industry. I'm on record as saying that. I did say on Mostly Sports, I'm putting my sword down. Now that Woj is out of the game, wow. I'm done fighting the Scoops fight. I'm gonna do my best to stick to that. I don't want this to be what I do all the time. It's just constantly bitch about the Scoops guys. Woj was different because Shams was a robot. Rothstein's a robot. There's a lot of these like robots out there. And Woj was like he just goes out of his way. Like, remember when Shams reported that JJ Redick was going to be the head coach of the Lakers?
Yeah. You called it from a mile away.
And then Woj was like, no, the fuck. Like it wasn't just like I'm hearing this. It was like any reports of JJ Redick being the coach are flat out wrong. Fuck whoever is saying that. Like, he's absolute bozo information that guy's getting, whoever he may be. We don't know who it. Like, that was his whole attitude. He says it's Dan Hurley. It's not Dan Hurley. It's JJ Redick. JJ Redick is the actual coach of the Lakers now, and somehow
Woj was the winner.
Woj twisted it where like I'm the winner. Shams doesn't know what he's talking about, and I'm again screaming like, how does this happen?
It's good.
How does he think he won?
It's good to see Titus fired up on a late summer Thursday, but also another winner of this was the Bosco Titus group chat got going again.
yeah.
When Titus and Bosco were talking about Dirtbag won't be able to handle the A10 Twitter at midnight.
That was Bosco. To be clear. But no, the fight's over for me, man. This is all I wanted because I came from a place of like just being a basketball fan, and I was like, I don't think it's good for basketball to have. I mean, there's going to be other guys. That's the problem. Is like I say I'm done with the Scoops guys, but there's going to be another guy that spoils Dylan Harper's announcement to Rutgers. Like Woj did as a reminder when Dylan Harper's like, I'm going to announce it right now, and then Woj was like, oh no, not so fast. I'm going to do it. And everyone's like, why? No one asked you to do this, Woj. Like, we had a fucking high school kid. This is the biggest moment of his life, and you have to step in for your own ego.
For what, too? Like, you're already at the top of the game. Like,
and then everyone
if you
says,
don't break Dylan Harper news, you're still woke.
You're still, like, what are you doing, dude? And everyone's like, he's doing his job. And I'm like, that's the whole point of why I go crazy about what this job is.
You make a compelling
Get this
argument.
job out of here. It's like paparazzi, like, snooping in people's bushes and taking pictures of people in their house, and then they just go, did you do him in jam? And I'm like, that's the point. That's why we hate you. Your job sucks. I don't want you to do your job. I want your job to go away.
Titus laid down the sword, though.
As excited as I am, I do think that at some point there's going to be like a 17-year-old that's like, I'm a 5-star recruit. I have it down to 3 schools. My mother, who tragically died of cancer 2 weeks ago, asked me to publicly announce where I'm going to school and take the money from that announcement and donate it in her name to a cancer hospital. And so I will do that in exactly 1 hour from now, and then the time between the guy says that and he announces, there's going to be some Scoops guy that's like, here's where he's going.
Memphis.
Let's go.
It's Memphis.
And then I'm going to go crazy, and everyone's going to be like, why are you so mad, dude? Why are you fucking mad? He's just doing his job.
So you don't, it's not necessarily you hate the person, you hate the action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, did I cover enough? I mean, I want the draft to come back too. Hopefully that's going to help, but I do think ESPN is going to hire Shams. Yeah. And I think Shams is going to be the guy that spoils the draft. But hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully Shams
have your
I don't know. I don't know enough about Shams's like I think Shams really does approach the job as like he really does just think I'm doing my job. And I know that's naive to say, and Shams obviously has an ego too, but Woj had always felt like so ego-driven. It felt like I'm the fucking man, and I need everybody to bow at the altar of me. Whereas Shams is like, I'm hearing this, and I'm going to report it, and I have the hardwiring in my brain doesn't understand that, like, I don't have to report everything. I don't have to, like you don't have to always, like, you know, like, I think Shams is just like, this is just robot. I have this information. Now you have it.
Yeah.
I have it. You have it. Woj is like, how can I step in front of the spotlight and make this about myself? So I'm hoping that Shams, if he does get hired by ESPN, he works the draft, he at least like when they talk to him, because like ESPN talked to Woj and they were like, don't do that anymore.
It changed, yeah.
And Woj was like, fuck you, I'm gonna keep doing it.
That's crazy.
And yeah, and so, like, some people hear that and they're like, that's my guy, dude. To have that leverage, that's awesome. And I'm like, I mean, as a viewer of the draft, like, even if it is awesome, it's like you're ruining the draft. Like, stop doing that. So hopefully the draft comes back. The Mark Titus Show is brought to you by DraftKings. TD, Tutty, taking it to the house, in for 6. Whatever you call a touchdown, one thing is for sure. Touchdowns matter at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. On the ground, in the air, from the special teams or defense, we don't care how they score them. We want to bet on touchdowns, and DraftKings Sportsbook is delivering. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple like picking a player to score a touchdown or how many TDs will be in a game. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. Ready to do a touchdown dance of your own? New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Score big with DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TITUS. That's code TITUS, TITUS, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5 only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Who's this guy, by the way? Can we talk about this?
Can we talk about? Are we talking
yesterday?
about? Are we talking about it?
I want to talk about this yesterday. You want to talk about guys stepping up. Who is Aaron Rosenberg, who's obviously not a real person, but also what was that? You're better at the internet than I am at this point. I'm too old for it.
So this guy yesterday, Aaron Rosenberg, let me pull up his Twitter too. And, you know, there's troll accounts out there. Like, you might do like Barstool Titus, but instead of Barstool, there'll only be one O.
Or one of the O's is a 0.
Yeah.
Or something.
Stuff like that. This guy, Aaron Rosenberg. Oh, no, I got terrible news.
What? Oh, no.
That hurts.
Account has been suspended.
So this Aaron Rosenberg guy, I can go back into our text, though.
Yeah, walk me through the timeline of this because I'll let you do it. You do it.
So Titus texted me, and this was last night at about 7:45, and he goes, "Who the fuck is this guy?" It's Aaron Rosenberg at Aaron ESPN, which I don't know if you can add this into the clip, Cody. His face is, I mean, this is our guy right here.
That's a face of a guy who would break NBA news.
Break NBA news.
Yeah, or any news really. That's a face of a Scoops guy.
And he tweets, after years of excellence, Adrian Wojnarowski has retired from ESPN. I'm Aaron Rosenberg, and I'm honored to take over his role, creating the high standard he set and deliver the latest news and most accurate information to the fans. Excited for this new chapter. It got 5.3 million views before it got like readers added context. And then he followed it up by breaking that the Brooklyn Nets are trading Ben Simmons to the Golden State Warriors. Sources tell ESPN in the exact format that Woj would use.
Do it.
It got 7 million views.
Oh, it was popping off like crazy.
70,000 likes. You got to tip that he gained 50,000 followers in one day.
It was brilliant because as I kept telling you, I was like, all right, so he's obviously not a real guy, but it wasn't obvious. First of all, it was not obvious. And the reason it wasn't obvious is because who is the guy in the picture?
If anyone knows, let us know.
Headshot?
Because it's one thing.
Cody, can you reverse image? How do you go about that? Oh,
it's one thing to troll. It's one thing to, make a parody account. It is a complete other thing to make up a human being. Like Aaron Rosenberg, this guy that runs the Aaron Rosenberg account created his social security number.
Oh, yeah.
Right, you can text Aaron Rosenberg right now that the Brooklyn Nets are trading.
So I thought it was a real guy when I saw the I'm taking over for Adrian Wojnarowski. I thought it was a real guy. Then I saw the Ben Simmons thing, and I was like, whoa, that's huge. Like because I thought it was a real guy. I was like, whoa, that's big news. Then I sought out like more information on the big Ben Simmons thing. I started to realize, oh, this isn't a real guy.
Mm-hmm.
But then I just kind of tipped my cap and applauded the guy because I was like, dude, if you're gonna dupe everybody, that's the way to go about it because it was so subtle. It was like it checked every box, and to have a headshot, most of these parody accounts like have like a logo that they tweak or something.
Yep.
But to have a headshot of a guy who is this a real person? I don't know who this person is.
Parody accounts love to like take your Twitter account and try and impersonate you.
Right.
He created a human.
He created a human. That's what this is next
that
level
no
shit,
one
dude.
could say that's not like no one can sit there and say that's not Aaron Rosenberg.
The way I understand Twitter trolls is when Woj announces he's retiring, you change your profile to look like Woj's.
Exactly.
And then you say, I am also getting into porn or something. And you tweet that out, and then everyone's like, oh my God, that you got us. I thought this was the real Woj. It's not the real Woj. It's and that's how they usually go about it. They don't create a brand new human being out of thin air.
If you Google Aaron Rosenberg right now and type news, the first 3 news articles,
good,
has Aaron Rosenberg replaced Adrian Wojnarowski at ESPN? Is Aaron what?
That was awesome. Kudos to that
Yeah.
person. If you're Aaron, whoever's behind Aaron Rosenberg, if you got me, you got everybody really.
Tip of the cap.
Because it was so perfectly executed. I think introducing yourself to the public and then following it up with the trade. If you would have started with the Ben Simmons trade, everyone would have been
That's
like, that's
fake.
bullshit. That's fake.
T-
But when you're like, it's an honor and a privilege, and also Scoops guys would say it that way too.
yeah.
They would be
like this is like Derek Jeter. Derek Jeter is retired, and I'm honored to take over as shortstop of the Yankees. I mean, essentially, sports is out here writing articles. Ben Simmons did not get traded by the Nets. Like, disregard
I saw
Rosenberg's report.
I saw we got Ben Simmons' workout video though. Did you watch
I
any
didn't
of
get that.
They were in the. I think he was in the fucking Lifetime Fitness that all the guys.
Oh.
You are you privy to this?
Oh yeah.
We gotta visit that place, man. What is going on? Like, there's a
run-in out there.
I'm sure someone's written a story about it. I need to dig into it. But there's a Lifetime Fitness. It's not even a full court. It's like
It makes no sense why that's
like
the place.
it's obviously in downtown New York somewhere. But that's just become the place where all the NBA guys work out. I'm pretty sure that's where Ben Simmons, the workout videos of him.
Oh wow, off-season training MVP.
Yep. We get another. That's how you can set your calendar to that. Really, you're like, oh shit, is it mid-September already? We're getting the Ben Simmons.
What who posted
workout videos?
Like Simmons doesn't want this
I
out
think
there,
it's
right?
a trainer Brickley, which is a tough name of a trainer. That's like, that's a tough.
Adds up though.
That's a tough. I know. You can't be having his name's Brickley, right?
Yeah,
and
and it adds
something Brickley. Yeah, it's tough. Like
Chris Brickley, as
I don't know Chris Brickley. I don't mean to get on Chris Brickley and whatever else, but I'm just calling it like it is. Like,
Yeah.
that's a tough spot to be in, to be like, I'm gonna fix your shot. And you're like, what's your name? And
he's
you're
a
like,
long range shooting coach.
I'm Brickley. I'm Chris Brickley. You can call me Brick.
What if his middle name's
just call me Brick.
Chris Not No Bricks.
Who was this came up on Mostly Sports. Do you remember the kicker who was Blewett? His name was Blewett.
No.
I thought he was like West Virginia or something, or maybe Pittsburgh. I don't know. I get the backyard brawl confused. Because Lucas
Chris Blewett.
Chris Blewett. Yeah. What school did he play at?
He played for the Pitt Panthers.
Pitt Panthers. Yeah.
All-time leader in points though.
Yeah, he was like a decent kicker. And then
Yeah.
he kicked in the NFL for a while. He might still be. I don't know. I kind of lose track of kickers.
No, I think you got mixed up. He's currently on the. He was on the Browns for a second.
He was on the Browns,
but now he's on the Birmingham Stallions.
Oh, that's right. He's on the Stallions. Yeah. And Lucas was wearing a Kenny Pickett jersey, and we made that note as like to have Pickett as your name when you're a quarterback is tough.
Mhm.
He was doomed
be a
from the start. Yeah.
Great defensive back name though.
That's a great defensive
That's a
back.
great
Yeah. Yeah, he's in the wrong position. So I think we're done with Woj. I think that's it. I think his last act to me was I'm crossing Woj off my sheet. I don't want to.
Symbolic. That's a symbolic.
That's a symbolic. We're done.
Unless the Bonnies are back.
I know if the Bonnies are back, then I'm going to talk about Woj some more.
You see Gottlieb chirping him?
No, did he?
Gottlieb chirping. He goes, Woj. Everyone knows you can do 2 jobs these days.
Oh, that's good. I'm cheering for Doug. They play Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay comes to Ohio State November 25th, I believe it is. November 25th.
You got it. Spot on.
Boom.
You'll be in Maui.
I will be in Maui. Yeah, I'm booking that trip. We're gonna be out in Maui. That'll be that's gonna be fucking awesome. That's gonna be so good. Yeah, what was just the last thing, or the thing I'll remember him last for is the Dan Hurley thing. That was. Can you just admit that, and then we can move on? That whole saga of like
that turned me
of everybody clowning Shams, and like Shams said it was going to be Reddick. It was Reddick, and somehow Shams was clown, and he's a loser and doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
That was, I'll admit, that was early on when we started doing this together. You called it to a T. You were like, he's going to be wrong, but he is going to get credit
he's still
for just how close Hurley really was.
Yeah. So I want to next talk about this stuff going on in the SEC, which is nothing shocking, nothing new. I don't love, like, this kind of happens in the off season where like every show feels like you're just talking about transfer portal and NIL stuff, and you kind of feel like you're just hitting the same things over and over. But then there's always like something new that piques my interest. And what's new this week to me is there's 3 stories out of basically the SEC. 2 of them are direct SEC schools. The third one's the Georgia Governor, which is not technically SEC, but let's be honest, it's
all
SEC. Yeah. So the one is that Arkansas's AD proposed that 10,000 families in the state, that he needs 10,000 families in the state to pay $100 a month in NIL. Arkansas feels like they're kicking the tires on this idea of like a subscription service, but like, what is the service? The service is just donate money to us so we can win football games.
We haven't talked much about this yet. I am so in on this.
Yeah.
This is what do taxes pay for, Titus? Taxes pay for common goods and services that everyone can utilize. Are you telling me that if Arkansas all of a sudden starts getting 5-star football and basketball players, that the people of Arkansas won't benefit from those common goods and services?
No, because everybody in Arkansas is probably a Razorbacks fan, so yeah.
Think about great. I mean, the South is the perfect lab rat to do this.
Yeah,
that's
why I was so interested in, or like it jumped off the page at me, is that the mask is off. The curtains have been drawn wide. Like, this is, they're not trying to hide what's going on at all anymore. In fact, they're doing the opposite, and they're like as shameless as can be. And they're in a position to do that because if there's one region of the country where you can pull this off, it is the South, where people are just like, yeah, I mean, fuck it. Like, yeah, I'll do that. Because Tennessee's the other one where Tennessee said, they announced this week that next year the football tickets are going to go up, and they're going to go up explicitly because they are charging a talent fee. They're going to take that money, the difference between this year's tickets and next year's tickets, they're going to take that money, they're going to use it for NIL, and that's how they're going to get players. Now, that's how every professional sports team is run. That's how it always works, is that I mean, this is nothing new, that the tickets to go to a Boston Celtics game are way more than they were 20 years ago, and it's just going to keep going up. And that's when then we turn around and we offer Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown billions of dollars seemingly, and all this is nothing new. What I find crazy is just how just like blatant they are. Like I use the analogy that it's like these restaurants after COVID where they're like, you get your bill and they're like, yeah, we tacked on a $5 back of the kitchen fee. You're like, or a 5% back
credit card fee or whatever, yeah.
And you're like, what is that? And you're like, oh, because we want to pay people more. And it's a common complaint. Everyone's like, why not just, this rigatoni I got for $28, why not just charge me $31?
Right, exactly.
Like, I would rather you do that.
Don't tell me.
Like, this feels
this
feels kind of like weird that like I ordered it for $28 and then now I get a bill and it's like 5% fee that then there's another fee. It's like, if you just bake those fees in, I would have been fine. I wouldn't even give a fuck. And I guess that's what's so fascinating to me, is like nothing about what they're doing is that's how every school is going to operate, is already operating. It's more that they're just openly transparent and saying just these SEC schools are just like straight up saying, we need fucking money, and we're gonna do, and we have no shame in like saying why we're doing this, how we're doing this, and who we're squeezing out to get that money.
He said this is what would get the Razorbacks in the game of NIL. Let me tell you something a little math wise. 10,000 families, $100 a month. That would be $1 million a month that they can then dole out for NIL players. What's interesting is when you think of Arkansas, I mean,
they have the richest boosters of any like non-Ivy League Stanford-esque school. As far as like public state schools go, Arkansas's up there.
They have Walmart.
Yeah.
They have Tyson Chicken.
Waltons are the richest family in the world, as far as I know, or at least the ones that, show up on those lists.
Right.
I don't know what the Saudis got going on over there, but
Tyson Chicken.
Yeah.
The fucking Cowboys.
The Cowboys.
They have all three of those, and they're sitting here.
The Clintons.
And they're saying all we need to get involved in the NIL game is for you families in the rich southern part of the United States, Arkansas, to just put another $100 bill. But here's the thing, Arkansas.
They'll do it. They'll do it. Hell fucking yeah, dude. If that's what it takes to see the Hogs win.
So you've talked about this a little bit though. With the NIL is not the intention behind NIL is not what is happening right now.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you have to just change the intention. Like that's why they have to get rid of. It's not going to work. The system doesn't work.
It sucks. But right now it's the Wild Wild West.
Yeah, it's the Wild West. So they immediately have to.
Who do you think should foot? Like who do you think in a perfect college sports world foots the bill of this name image like this? Because right now it's collectives are literally buying players.
Right.
So then you would think, is that turned on the people, the fan base, or should it just be, hey, Jerry Jones, we want to have a good football team this year. Can you donate $12 million?
Well, I mean, and then the question after that is like, who's in charge of the actual like when you get to the boosters have had a ton of influence on these programs forever, but I think Florida State football is an interesting example. You bring in DJU to be your quarterback. You paid him a hefty amount of money. Someone wanted him, obviously. I don't know if Mike Norvell wanted. I'm sure he did. I'm sure he didn't take a guy he didn't want. But like, you got a guy that you paid a ton of money to who seemingly sucks ass now. What are you gonna not play him? What are you gonna like? How like you have to play him, and like who's calling those shots? Who's like, no, dude, I cut a check for how much money did he get? $500,000, $400,000.
I think is the general.
Cut a check for $400,000 for this kid. You're gonna play him. You're gonna play his ass. That's my guy. I paid for him. I want him out there. I find that fascinating. Like who's actually calling the shots, and like that part is not exactly entirely new because boosters have always had an influence, and they're always whispering in coaches' ears and saying this and that. But now. Boosters have always donated to the program. Mm-hmm. They've always donated to like this idea of what the program is, and like that gets ambiguous. And it's like, no, Walton family, you sit down. Like we thank you for the money, but we use that to build a weight room. You're not in charge. Like you say over here, you're over here, you're over here, and it was always like you could move stuff around and be ambiguous about it. But in a world where it's like I will cut you a check for $2 million, and you're going to go out and you're going to give me the top quarterback that's in the transfer portal, and that's my guy. And I want you to remember, Coach, as this guy, like Miami's doing it with Cam Ward right now.
Got him for you.
I was the one who got Cam Ward for you. That was me. So when it's week 7, and I'm saying run the fucking ball and run, you better listen to my, like how is
right.
that?
Well, and Big Cat's always.
I guess you wouldn't say run the ball if you brought in the quarterback. Pass the fucking ball.
See what he's got.
Yeah, that's
Big
my
Cat's
guy.
always joked about it, but we're literally nearing the point where, like, he doesn't want to. He said he doesn't want to donate money to Wisconsin. He wants to have a specific player that he is responsible. For. Dan, you can do that now.
Yeah,
like go get him a point guard, and that's Dan Katz's Player of the Year right there.
But once Dan starts doing that, at what point is Dan like, I got a pipeline of dudes, and you're not getting my dudes unless I get more influence on what this program is, and that whole trickle down.
Well, did you see Urban talked about the Florida job yesterday?
Yeah.
And he made a good point that it's getting to be a worse job by the minute because as you lose, the boosters' eagerness dries up and the NIL dries up, and your entire livelihood right now in college sports relies on can you generate money to buy the next group of players? Right. So
that's true, yeah. And then I bet when you do hire the next coach, there's almost like in a weird twisted way, like a power vacuum almost, where like he's like a new guy to like now be claimed, and then all the vultures come in and boxing each other out and trying to top billing with the coach. Yeah, but the Arkansas and the Tennessee news was really crazy. And then Georgia, I don't know if you saw this, the Georgia's governor signed an executive order, it's all for show. It's just political posturing. But he signed an executive order that basically said the NCAA cannot enforce NIL rules in the state of Georgia, which is like I'm pretty sure
the governor of Georgia.
I'm pretty sure that's that's the gist of what it was. It was like you don't have we'll set our own rules. We got it. We'll take it from here. Like you can't enforce your rules, which I read that and I'm like, why doesn't the governor of Ohio say that the Buckeyes can never lose in the state of Ohio? So like any game we play in Ohio, if you beat us, that's actually illegal and we're throwing you in jail.
We always get 30 points to start.
Like I don't think it works that way.
I love it though.
But the fact that you're doing this and you're just so openly brazen about how they're going about it is I don't know. It's interesting to me, and at a time when you shouldn't be surprised, and I continue to every so often just be like, damn, all right, so they're just saying it. They're just going for it, I guess.
Do you think we ever get back to a world? Because I think the original intention was, Mark Titus, if your jersey's flying off the shelves at the Ohio State team shop, Mark Titus should get a cut of that pie.
Right.
Which is fair. That. Hey, Reggie Bush made USC millions of dollars and wasn't supposed to be getting any of it. Can we get back to that? Like, not 18-year-olds, hey, we're already going to give you a truck and your family's going to get a house when you get to campus, and we're also going to give you $2 million to come here.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
We can't get back, no. You can't turn the money faucet off. You can't. So that's why I continue to – I'm a broken record with it, but I continue to just say, like, it is just going to be professional sports. College football will directly compete with the NFL at some point, and because they'll have to, because it'll just like slowly the amateur model, the NCAA model will erode away, and there'll be some kid that's born in like 2061 will turn 15 years old, and he'll be in 2076. Did I do that math right? And he'll go, Daddy, I'm looking at this college football landscape. I'm looking at this NFL landscape. Explain to me the difference of the two sport of college and NFL. And the dad will go, well, be goddamn. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's no eligibility requirements anymore. There's no.
You don't have to go to school.
You don't have to go to school anymore. You don't have
the
same amount of money. The colleges are also like, I guess there's no draft probably in colleges, but they're just like signing free agents.
The fight songs though.
He's like, yeah, it's like.
Let me tell you about the fight songs, son.
It's like, well, I guess the NFL puts teams in big cities and the colleges are in smaller towns, I guess. I don't know. Is that it? I don't know what else. And I think the same with basketball as well, and that seems like the most extreme example to say that that'll eventually happen, but that's where I think it's headed. But, yeah, that's the news out of the SEC is they're just going for it. Other like broken record type stuff is the conference realignment, and I guess we kind of have a little bit of clarity with what the Pac-12 is thinking. Memphis and Tulane are the top targets for the Pac-12, which would make Memphis going to the Pac-12 and making an awesome basketball conference. I think Gonzaga, we talked about that last week. Gonzaga gets in the mix too. I think if they get Memphis and Tulane with the schools they already have coming from the Mountain West, I think you got to go all in on adding Gonzaga, and you tell Gonzaga, you name the terms. We need you in the.
Can you bring St. Mary's too?
Yeah, bring Gonzaga and St. Mary's as basketball only. Obviously, you don't mandate that they have to have football programs. Maybe you throw in a couple of the other Mountain West schools, but again, as we said last week, like if that was the plan, you feel like they would have already done that. Or maybe it was like, we know we want these four. Let's see what else is out there. We're open for business. Nothing else really. And then you just go back and you call the Mountain West when you realize that you're not getting Stanford and Cal to come back and all that sort of thing. But yeah, I mean, if Memphis goes, I think the geography part of it's weird, obviously. But I at this point, that doesn't shock me anymore. We're past that being a shock. So it's like that's actually going to be a good basketball conference, and I think that's the path to sustainability for a non. Big Ten non-SEC conference is you do have to figure out like what your niche is and why are you relevant on the college sports landscape? How are you going to get television networks to give you money? How are you going to get the rest of the schools in the Big Ten, in the SEC to give you a seat at the table? And basketball might be the path. And if that is the path, I think adding Memphis certainly helps. Tulane's not a terrible program either. So, yeah, I don't know what this means for the American. That's what's crazy to me is the American won 10 years ago in 2014. The American Athletic Conference won a national championship. And not only did they win a national championship, and conferences don't win national championships. I usually hate talking like that, but to prove my point, I'm gonna be a hypocrite and say that the conference won a national championship. A school from the American Athletic Conference won a national championship. The Connecticut Huskies, right? Also that year, you might remember, Russ Smith was like, I don't know if he's first team All-American. He was an Sean Kilpatrick at Cincinnati was an All-American. I remember they had, between Napier, Russ Smith, and Sean Kilpatrick, they had three dudes. I don't think they were all first team All-Americans, but they had They had like 3 of the top 6 players in the country, 7 players, wherever you want to draw the line. Point is, they had dudes on 3 different schools. They had the national champion, and it felt like the American was, it wasn't the ACC, it wasn't the Big Ten, but they got something. Like they undeniably have something, and the Big Ten still to this day is not. There's not been a school that while they were under the Big Ten umbrella won a national championship since the year 2000. So like the American winning in 2014 felt like kind of obviously it was a good thing for them, but it also felt like this is like a good starting point for like the sustainability of the conference. And now you look up and you're like, God damn, if Memphis and Tulane go, they're left with UTSA, North Texas, Tulsa, and I don't want to shit on these programs, but I mean, if we're being honest, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm shitting on these programs. This is not a great conference anymore.
And then what happens to it? Like, so they're rumored to, if they go, they're rumored to be bringing in Air Force. Okay, sounds good. My question is, are we all just playing musical chairs here until we have 2 huge conferences?
Pretty much, yeah. That seems to be.
What are we doing?
But I think that's the way. If you can build a basketball conference, you don't necessarily have to do that. So I think that that's the move. Houston was in the American.
Mm-hmm. That's quite the conference, actually. When you
they had a good basketball. Yeah. They had a thing, and now it's like yikes. And Wichita State is in the American now. Wichita State left the Missouri Valley to go to the American because it was like this is going to be a massive step up. They should have stayed in the Missouri Valley. And I'm sure the American makes more money, and I'm sure like financially it all made sense. But like, is it really like when the dust settles on all this, and the American continues to get?
Because that conference you just described, if they were all still together, are they all in different, better spots right now? I'm assuming financially they have to be, or else they wouldn't have made it.
They wouldn't have done it.
But that is so much more of a competitive conference than what we're talking about.
Yeah. But yeah, Memphis. The Pac-12. I look at it this way: it's if Memphis and Tulane go to join the Pac-12, does the Pac-12 have my attention in a college basketball sense?
Yes.
The answer is definitively yes.
I will watch. Gonzaga adds.
You had Gonzaga St. Mary's. You very much have my attention, and I'm watching Pac-12 basketball probably more than I did a few years ago when I was trying to watch it on my refrigerator with Pac-12 Network. That was how you had to watch Pac-12 Network back in the day. Was you had to buy the right refrigerator and watch it on the screen. And I'm not kidding. That was like how Pac-12 Network. You could watch it other ways, but there was one of their promotions was like you buy and
it came with the Pac-12 Network.
There was like Pac-12 Network like on the. I'm misremembering. Cody, look this up for me. Can you look this up? Look up there was something about refrigerators with the Pac-12 Network that was like one of the more insane things, and it stuck with me.
This person
that you can watch the Pac-12 Network on your refrigerator, and they were like, "That's the key to getting the Pac-12 networks in homes."
Can't get Pac-12 Network on my regular TV, but we do have the option on our
fridge. Oh man, that's so good. You see, we talked about Rutgers last week when TJ was here, and the disrespect the Blue Ribbon Yearbook gave Rutgers, putting them 15th in the Big Ten in their preseason. Since that happened, John Rothstein and John Fanta both go to Piscataway. Rothstein does his Rothstein reactions. I want to do my own Rothstein reactions, but also that's John's thing, and I don't want to rip it off. But it looks so fun.
Titus Tales.
Titus Takes.
Titus Takes. Talking Titus.
These are the Titus Takes. I don't want to just copy his shit, but at the same time, it just looks like he's having so much fun that I just want to.
Let's also be clear, Titus. He didn't invent talking in front of the camera.
But he invented the cadence. I'm John Rothstein with the Rothstein reaction outside of Piscataway, New Jersey, where I just saw Ace Bailey, who I believe is Jabari Smith with ball skills. Jabari Smith, of course, you might remember, one of the more talented players that college basketball has seen in the last 10 years, and I think he's even better than him. Just the way the cadence goes, and then he signs off 20. Look at.
And I also love one thing I love about this is the period after
Rutgers.
Dude. Like Rothstein reaction, Rutgers.
Rothstein's the best. Rothstein is like, he gives me hope for the Scoops guys, because I go on these crusades about the Scoops guys, and then Rothstein, I just always fall back to John. I'm like, I can't hate John. Like if the time comes, I can't. So for me, it's not all Scoops guys. It can't possibly be all Scoops guys because John Rothstein is awesome and I love him.
Do you notice anything? Something's going on over in Rutgers though.
Yeah, I do find it interesting that both those guys went to practice this week and put out their takes, I guess. They're just their reactions from Rutgers.
Pretty positive.
And both were just like, holy shit, Rutgers is going to be good. Right after Blue Ribbon Yearbook, the Bible, the college basketball Bible said Rutgers is 15th in the Big Ten. It's pretty interesting. But dude, if Ace Bailey, I don't mean to mock John for that. Like John in his video, I just watched it right before we started doing the show. John said Ace Bailey is Jabari Smith with ball skills, and that was like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean,
I heard that was whoa. And I'm not saying that because I'm like, John, you're out of your mind. I'm saying it because I'm like, if that, I haven't seen really Ace Bailey play like that. If you're at practice and that's where you're reporting, boy, Rutgers is going to be.
But that's where it doesn't add up. Is Rothstein's not in the bullshitting business? It's not like Rutgers is paying Rothstein and Fanta to come over here and rave about him. How does that add up to 15th in the conference? What do you think, Titus?
Or is Rothstein being paid by Rutgers?
I don't hate that. If so, but what does that?
I would like to get paid. I would gladly take people's money to just say nice.
Or Titus,
I would gladly sell my.
Is Blue Ribbon getting paid by Rutgers?
Oh, to say bad shit about them.
Because I don't think it helps. Well, I mean, it helps.
Pikel does feel like he's that kind of coach, that he's like, I don't eat the rat poison type coach. He's like, I don't want you to say anything nice about our team. Say we're going to suck, and then that way I can.
Like all year, he can say,
chip on their shoulder.
Fanta might have said this. Rossi might have said this. Look what the Bible said.
Yeah. Look what the Bible. Yeah.
Trust the word.
Yeah. Y'all ain't shit. Y'all been listening to John Fanta and John Rothstein too much. Y'all ain't shit. Look at this shit. Look what they said. But Ace Bailey, John. I saw John's video. I got so fired up because if Ace Bailey is in fact Jabari Smith, I think Jabari's NBA career has not started the way that a lot of people expected. He hasn't been bad. He's not I don't think it's fair to call him a bust, but he's not like. When you're in a draft with Paolo Banchero, and I said I wouldn't do it, Tate. I said I was done with Woj, but Woj did report that Jabari Smith was going first overall to the Magic, and then Paolo's like blossomed into one of the great young talents in the league, and Jabari's like a solid player, and there's hope, and there's you see the tools, but it's like he's not as good as Paolo, obviously. Anyway, if you watch his NBA career this far, you might forget just how fucking good he was at Auburn, and how he was just like a taller Klay. Like he never missed. He was like Klay Thompson that was like
6'11".
Yeah, he was 6'11", right?
6'11".
I said 6'9". He's 6'11". Like the guy he was unreal. So if Ace Bailey is Jabari Smith who can dribble a basketball, because that was the one thing with Jabari, was like he's not great at pull ups and yeah, he's not. He couldn't put the ball on the deck as well. That was something we all knew about him. But he was great defender, great shooter. Yeah, and Rothstein, I think he said Ace Bailey was guarding 1 through 5. He said that in the video too. 1 through 5, every position.
If we get on the Rutgers train now, are we early on the train? Are we leaving? Is it at the station yet?
I think we're still early. I think this freshman class in college basketball is going to be awesome. They are going to be so good, especially after last year's class was a little disappointing. I think it's going to be a breath of fresh air for people that want like young, invigorating talent into college basketball. But I think jumping on the freshman bandwagon means jumping on Duke's bandwagon and Cooper Flagg. So if you swerve and you say I'm a Rutgers guy. Now, it's harder for us because we're Big Ten. Our alma mater is a Big Ten school, and it's like I don't want to gas up Rutgers too much.
I'm not too high.
Yeah, because then like Ohio State goes into Piscataway, and it's like
who's he cheering for?
Like, yeah, or also I just don't want to fall in love with these guys, and then they beat the fuck out of my team, and I'm like, what the hell is that? But yeah, I think Rutgers is going to be good, and they're going to be a ton of fun, and I'm fired up to see Ace Bailey now. Quick break to talk about our friends at Sport Clips. Guys, it can be intimidating sometimes to get your hair cut, knowing what to ask for, wondering if your stylist will be able to deliver a great haircut. There's good news. Sport Clips stylists have been specially trained in the nuances of men's hair, taking the worry out of getting a haircut. So whether you're going for a tight fade, a slick back mullet, or just think that looking like Patrick Mahomes will make you a better quarterback, Sport Clips stylists are here to do whatever you need to feel confident. I'm terrible at this. When I get a haircut, I have no idea what to say to the barber. I'm not good at describing it. Take the worry out of it. Nothing says confidence like a great haircut, and nobody does great haircuts like Sport Clips. Go to Sport Clips. They'll treat you right. It is an absolute game changer. Speaking of Cooper Flagg, by the way, John Rothstein got me very excited. Speaking of Cooper Flagg, by the way, I saw and speaking of aces, Ace Flagg. Do you know that Cooper Flagg has a twin brother?
I didn't know that.
See, this is something that, and this is why we do the show. We educate the people. His twin brother is named Ace Flagg.
Did he hoop?
Does he? Who? He's good as fuck, I guess. He's actually, I don't know. Maybe that was probably over.
Oh, so he'd be in the class of 25 then.
His Cooper flag reclassed.
You know he reclassified.
Yeah, I knew that.
I know that was called. Sorry.
Oh, you're trying to score a point on me. Get the shit out of here.
Yeah, I knew that. So where's
you don't get to report that. I'm putting my name on that report. So Ace Flag is a high school senior now. He's going to play one more year of high school basketball. He was taking his recruiting visits, and the whole reason I bring this up is because it got put on my timeline in some way, shape, or form that Ace Flag just took his visit to Maine.
Okay.
Now the Flag brothers are from Maine.
Mm-hmm.
They went to Montverde Academy in Florida for high school for the last year, I guess, and Cooper's doing that thing, and now he's going to Duke. But they are Maine boys, and the reason I'm bringing it up is because when I saw that picture of Ace Flag in the Maine jersey, it made me sad, Tate. And it made me sad because it made me think of a world where Cooper Flag and Ace Flag both went to Maine together and just fucking wreck shit. And it was and this feels like something that would have happened in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, but now in 2024, it would be irresponsible for Cooper Flag to. Ace Flag didn't commit to Maine. I think that was like the first visit that he took. So I don't know if he's going there or not. But I just saw him in the jersey, and I was like, damn, dude, if this was like 1995. Ace Flag and Cooper Flag probably just Cooper Flag wouldn't have reclassed, one, because he wouldn't be trying to get to the NBA faster, to then get to his second contract faster, to then make trillions of dollars. And like Cooper Flag, if he is as good as what he's supposed to be, he probably will make $1 billion in career earnings. And it's like, let's get that money train started as soon as possible. Right. And also with that, in 2024, it's like it would be irresponsible, and I'm sure all the adults told him this. This isn't why he chose Duke over UConn, but this is why Maine was probably never in the running for him. It would be irresponsible to not go to a Duke or a UConn or a blue blood caliber place. To then Zion Williamson had the same thing, where Zion Williamson like grew up right around Clemson and like had Clemson on his list. And the powers that be were like, you're not going to fucking Clemson, dude. Get your ass to Duke, get put in the pipeline, go cash some checks, and let's keep this thing moving. And it just broke my heart because I long for the day where like that just seemed, that would be such a cool story if the twin brothers,
2'6'7" twin towers, tall white dude,
went to Maine and were just wrecking shit, dude. And they were like a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, and they went like 32-3 in the regular season, and you got like 3 seed Maine in your bracket, and the Cooper brother, the Flag brothers. Cooper and Ace, or I don't know.
Oh, what great names too! But now what we're getting instead is they are literally twin brothers.
Yeah,
and they'll never play college basketball,
at the
same time.
At the same time, yeah. I know.
His twin brother will be in the pros when he is graduating.
I know.
High school.
I know. It bummed me out.
It's a damn shame.
I don't mean you bring a damper on things, but that
Hey, at what age?
It made me nostalgic for.
At what age are you no longer allowed to switch names with your twin brother? Because it would be a great name for Cooper Flag. Ace Flag. Like the number one pick in the draft.
Did you look up Ace Flag? Look up Ace Flag and Cooper Flag next to each other. Okay. I don't think it's necessarily hard to tell which one's which.
No, it's not.
I guess I should just say it because like people that aren't gonna actually like because I kind of said that as though like Ace Flag is black or something.
No,
no,
yeah.
I kind of retract. I guess I should. They're fraternal twins.
Yeah,
they don't look. They're not identical twins. They don't look exactly alike. So.
But if
that's all I meant by that.
Like, at what point did you find out that Cooper is like the next thing and Ace is like just really good at basketball? Because the amount of hype surrounding Cooper right now is
outrageous.
It's outrageous.
Yeah.
If his name was Ace. If he was the number one player in the country and his name was Ace.
His name was Ace,
oh
yeah.
My gosh.
They got the names wrong?
Yeah.
Maybe so. What else we got going on? I saw Adidas is canceling Trae Young's shoe line. And Trae Young is a guy who Trae Young is a guy who I have to be careful talking about because I feel like I like Trae Young a lot more than most basketball fans seem to like Trae Young.
Right now you do?
Well, that's the problem is because I will always remember Trae Young leading the country and scoring and assists, and I was like, this is fun. He was Caitlin Clark.
He was.
He was like literally.
What was he like?
Like what Caitlin Clark was doing, Trae Young was doing. The difference, if you want to be, we should be completely honest. Caitlin Clark's leading her team to the Final Four. Trae Young was not.
Yeah, he was like a 9 seed.
Yeah, and they started losing a lot of games once conference play hit, but. His year at Oklahoma was fucking wild, dude. He was putting up insane numbers, and he was he was a young Steph Curry, and I'll never forget that season he had at Oklahoma. He led the country in scoring and assists.
Insane.
And the idea of him being National Player of the Year was preposterous. It was preposterous that year. Because Jalen Brunson won it. It was 2018, right? He's a 2018 guy.
Yeah, his first NBA season, 2018, 2019.
He was so yeah. Like I remember Trae Young fondly for that reason. And then even sometimes I'll catch him on the right night in the NBA, and he's a bucket, and he's there's something. He scratches the Steph itch, not just of like hitting deep shots, but he's very much undersized out there, and you're like, yeah, he's to be a bucket with his frail frame and all that. Like, I don't know, I like him all right. And then other people are like, whoa, pump the brakes, buddy. This guy cannot guard he can't keep a shadow in front of him. He's got effort problems. He wants the ball in his hand. Like there's so many reasons to not like him, and I understand all that, but the preamble is this, Tate. Is he losing his shoe, do we think, because he sucks in the eyes of Adidas, or did his shoe just suck? What if his shoe is just not good?
I'm
not a sneaker. I'm not a sneakerhead, but what if he just has like a bad shoe?
My thought on the loss of sneaker deal, which I am interested in.
No one's just buying a shoe because they're like, this shoe just isn't comfortable.
He was cool. Like, he was cool coming out of college. He was then
Ice Tray.
That's
great nickname.
Rookie of the year. Comes out second year. He's Ice Tray. He signed with Adidas. He averages 29 points a game. Like, going back to my previous career,
The Atlanta Rappers were loving him.
I was a middle school teacher for 10 years. He was the
cool as fuck.
Coolest NBA player. Like, you saw Trae Young jerseys. He gets a shoe line. I think they've kind of figured out he's not that good.
He's not that good, yeah.
He's not that good.
He's kind of not that good.
And it's like a baseball team. Like, all right, if you're not performing, we got to find someone else that can.
Right.
And so this isn't like a huge knock on him, but no, he's not a signature shoe guy starting the following year.
But what's crazy to me is there's like 40 guys in the league that have signature shoes.
Yeah.
Is Trae Young one of the top 40 players in the league?
I did look it up. He's currently 36th in the Ringers poll.
Oh, really? The Ringers? You being serious?
Yeah. Check on your sheet, prep sheet. Currently 36th, one ahead of Derek White. That was a little treat for you, Titus.
Yeah, thank you. That feels right. He's
two behind Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert don't have a signature shoe.
Yeah. All right, maybe he doesn't deserve. I don't know.
Let me see. Let me get you a little.
That's the hard part about being a college a fan of these college guys is you do like.
Wait, his shoes are cool,
but are they comfortable? That's the problem.
I'm not saying actually these shoes. All I know is that these shoes are a hot commodity. The Ice Tray.
Yeah, those look cool.
Yeah,
I'd buy those if I was 20 years younger.
Hooping in the icy polar color.
You know who had dog shit shoes when I was coming of age was LeBron James.
You didn't
dog shit shoes.
Yeah. Well, hold on.
They were. Dude, I got these right here. Look at these.
You don't have the ones, do you?
I stay strapped with LeBron. Look, I got these hanging behind me. These blew out. And then I got these right. I got like 3 pairs of these.
I didn't like those.
These things weigh. Hold this in your hand. Feel how heavy that is.
Jesus.
That thing weighs 5 pounds.
I mean, that right there. But Titus, do you remember these?
These things were tanks. Oh yeah, those were tanks too.
You know what I miss? When did you play? When did you play high school, Titus?
I graduated 06.
Do you remember the Adidas Pro model? Like these.
Let me see. Hold on. We were. Oh yeah. Yep.
Fresh.
Yeah.
Bring them back.
Yeah, those are nice. Maybe that's what he should. What if the Trae Young signature shoe is just like the Adidas Superstar or something, and he just does that? That's what Bird and Magic didn't have a signature shoe. They just wore Converse weapons.
Yeah.
Look at the Converse weapon. Give you a little Converse weapon in your life. Yeah. Let's get a live reaction to.
This is like when you see your wife for the first time.
Get a peek.
That's what weapon. Magic and Larry and Bird wore.
Yeah. I think that's what that was the shoe, dude. The Chuck Taylors were the shoe forever, and then Converse was like, we got to step our game up, and they created a weapon.
Well, I was gonna ask, is weapon?
Dude, look at the. Did you find did you find the poster of them back to back?
Let me find that
iconic poster, dude, where they're both holding their weapons and the colorways. I think
weapon? Oh wow! Choose your weapon.
Let me get a peek at that.
Just come on over here. Choose your weapon as they both hold their shoes.
That's good shit right there.
Do you think weapon is trademarked? Because all these like shoe names now are just like Trae Young 1, 4, LeBron 12.
Yeah.
The Nike weapon would be.
Yeah. They does anybody go by a nickname? They all use the was Kobe just Kobe's?
Yeah, I wore the Kobe 5s.
They weren't like the Mamba 4s or something.
Oh, they might have been. No, they're Kobe 5s. Kobe 5s.
They weren't the Mamba number 5s.
Caitlin Clark have a shoe yet?
I
don't know. Start rocking.
I don't know what her yeah. Would you rock Caitlin Clark's?
She
Someone did. There was a.
She kind of rocks the Kobe stuff.
What am I thinking of? Did Taurasi have a shoe? Sabrina.
Oh,
Sabrina
had
that's
a
who I
shoe.
was thinking of. Thank you,
She
Cody,
did have a
for
shoe.
saying that not into the microphone so our audience couldn't hear it. But
Oh, she does have a
Sabrina had and there were NBA guys wearing the Sabrinas, right?
Yeah, there were.
Yeah.
My basketball team wanted the Sabrinas. Those are cool. They were I think the
Those are cool.
Sabrinas were like the first girl shoe.
Yeah. Are you a sneakerhead, really?
No, not really. I wore Dunks a lot when I was like a teacher and everything, but I'm not going out. You're not, are you? We're like
No,
there's people that have like $12,000 of closet shoes.
No, I was when I was a kid. Like I thought like the shoes you were hooping in was cool. And
Yeah.
like, you had to have I would beg my parents for. I was like, never mind. When I said I needed the Nintendo, I didn't mean that, Mom and Dad. Give me these shoes instead. That's what I need. Please, please, please. And then I got like basically kind of too big. Like I got to a point where my feet were too big to where like I wear size 14, and it's hard. It's just harder to find like in stores. They're not impossible to find, but it's just like you can't go to finish line when like a new shoe drops and just scoop a pair of 14.
Right.
They just look at you and be like, we don't have we don't carry for it. And I was like, fuck. And then that just kept happening over and over to where I was like, I guess I'm just gonna get whatever shoes I can.
What was your philosophy as a hooper with shoes? Were you, this is something I always go back and forth with my other coaches on, and one played Division I basketball, so I'm interested to hear if that has your take. Were you a team shoe guy? Were you a individual shoe guy? Were you I want to wear whatever the fuck feels good on my feet shoe guy?
I would wear the team shoes. But I would, like at Ohio State, I still have 100 pairs of shoes in my house because they would give us a new pair of shoes like seemingly every month. And I would always stick with the same pair until they just blew out.
So
like
did they?
Like these behind me, they finally blew out when we were playing pickup here. Like the soles just like popped
Oh, wow.
off. I would do that in practice. Like I would just wear one pair until they blew out. So I have a bunch of like brand new LeBrons.
So how does that
They're
work?
like 15 years old,
do
I
they
guess.
tell you what to wear? Do they give you a couple that you can wear?
They give us a couple, yeah.
So like,
But
all
in general, they're actually when we were there, it was a little more regimented. Like it would be heavily suggested. So I would practice like when we got these, say like this was for a reason, and like LeBron was trying to move like the icy whites, you know. So I think like the team all had to wear these like for a game when we were at home. We were the home whites, and then it's just like all whited out, you know.
Yeah.
But in practice leading up to the game, I would wear like the actual shoes that I was wearing, and then for the game because I knew I wasn't really playing,
Yeah.
I'd just put on the
Whatever
like
LeBron wants me to wear.
I put them on even if they're not broken in. I didn't give a shit because I was like, I'm not gonna play anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, shoes fascinate me. People that are sneakerheads fascinate me because I want to be like them. I just can't do it anymore. I don't know. I can't bring myself to do it. Speaking of fashion, the City Connect jerseys are out and they stink. But I did almost all of them stink. We talked about it on Mostly Sports this morning, and I shit all over all of them. But then since we did that until now, I have since learned that the Toronto Raptors one, I didn't see this at first. The Toronto Raptors one is the Raptor doing the Vince Carter between the legs dunk.
Oh,
Look that up.
okay.
I didn't even notice that.
I was shitting on them. City Connect Raptors.
Yeah, dude.
Okay.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
That one's pretty. That was a pretty sick. But I don't.
What?
I don't get the idea of City Connect though. How does that connect to the city? That's like
former player connect.
That's just former player. That's like franchise.
Everyone give a nod to a former player.
What's
your thought on alternate jerseys?
You know my thought on alternate jerseys.
Give me the.
Come on.
Whatever happened to the old?
What are we playing the hits? Titus, Woj, alternate jerseys, and NIL. Your thoughts?
All right.
No, that has been one of my frustrations with the NBA. That's another thing that I think has aged nicely for me. I think 5 years ago I was screaming this from the mountaintops. People were like, "Dude, you're not cool. What are you, a boomer already?" And I was like, "You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sit in the corner. I'm gonna try not to bitch as much." And then somewhere along the line, I do feel like the rest of the basketball world is catching up, right? Right? I feel like
you
I
led
feel
the
like
way. You
I feel
shined
like
the light.
I feel like most people are at a point where they're like, this is getting outrageous.
Yes,
These
that
jerseys.
is now the majority.
This is getting outrageous. And I was on that shit when alternate jerseys. No, I was just about any I think there should be like a handful of nights a year where you wear alternate jerseys. That's it. And it's league wide. Otherwise, it's home white, road colors.
The amount of
And,
times
like,
now
keep
where,
it simple and build. So I saw someone describe it as this, that like that the current you're depriving, and I don't know how much this is important, but I do think it sort of matters. You're depriving the current generation of the future nostalgia. Is how I saw someone put it.
that's
I was
really
like,
well put.
damn, that's a good point, because like nostalgia is kind of stupid in some ways. People who are obsessed with stuff like the Brandon Walker types, they're all fucking bozos in their own ways. It's like live in the time you're living in. Why are you always like trying to pretend you're 15 years old again? But it works, and it's what keeps you going back. And if I was on a darkness retreat for like 10 years, I was in a fucking coma. I was what's another scenario? A hypothetical. I didn't know what was going on in the world of basketball for 10 years. And you tell me that the Boston Celtics and the Los Angeles Lakers are going to meet in the NBA Finals this year. I'm tuning in. And you know why I'm tuning in, Tate? Is because I have this like baked in nostalgia of what that means.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder, as time goes on, and all these brands have been diluted to the point you can't even recognize them. You don't even know who. You turn on your television, you don't even know who the fuck is playing.
That's my point.
The courts have gotten bad. The jerseys have gotten bad. You have no idea. The colors don't even make sense anymore.
The Cavs City Connect is baby blue this year.
Yeah.
Baby blue.
Yes. And so I do wonder about that moving forward. Is like the 12-year-olds right now, when they're 30, what are they going to be nostalgic for? And in some ways, it's like, who gives a shit about them, dude? Keep cashing those checks, selling all these jerseys. But in other ways, I'm like, is that long term? I do think the NFL got that right. The NFL continues to get that right. When you watch the Dallas Cowboys versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, you are going to see a silver helmet with the blue star on one side. You're going to see a black helmet with the Steelers logo only on the one side. The other side is going to be completely black. And goddamn it, that's fucking football.
It is.
And you know, in 50 years when the Cowboys play the Steelers, that's what their helmets are going to look like.
That's
important.
We were just talking about today. Like, you remember the starter jackets?
Yeah.
The Charlotte Hornets starter jackets. The Cavs starter jackets was orange and blue. And that's what I think back on this childhood of like those what the teams look like.
Yeah.
Nowadays you turn it on and it's like H-Town versus 5280.
5280.
It's like,
What
who
does
is
that mean?
playing?
Yeah. And there's like graffiti spray painted on the court in like neon pink. And you're like, what is this?
We're old.
But I guess you're old, but at the same time, here's the thing. We're also right. We're also right. Last thing before we get out of here, Baylor Gonzaga playing. They're set to meet for the season opener, dude. November 4th.
What a treat.
It's so good. They're playing in Spokane. They're not playing at the Kennel. They will be playing in Spokane Arena, which is where Kentucky went when they played Gonzaga. Now, I am someone that doesn't like neutral site games. I want them to play it on campus. I wish this was at the Kennel. I think Gonzaga people are like, we don't mind it as much because we do get to sell more tickets. The Kennel is for how good of a program that is, the Kennel doesn't hold a ton of people. Somehow that's not a problem with Duke, though. Cameron Indoor Stadium is cozy, and like you would never hear like Duke fans be like, don't play that game in Cameron. What? We have Kentucky coming in town? Oh, dude, we got to move that to Charlotte. No, they would be like, no, play that fucking thing
what's
in
the
Cameron.
reason?
So I've never been to a game at the Kennel, so I can't speak on it. Maybe it isn't.
Like, who makes this call?
Do
they not agree on a home and home?
Mark Few and Scott Drew are buddies. I think that Scott Drew seems like he would be willing to play a true road game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think someone in the Gonzaga athletic department, if it's not Mark Few, it's someone in the athletic department. It's like, let's just go to the other arena, sell more tickets, make more money, whatever. I don't like that. I wish it was at the Kennel, but we're getting the game anyway, and it is going to essentially be a Gonzaga home game. But the interesting thing to me, Tate, is that there is apparently – so they announced that they're playing this in Spokane.
Mm-hmm.
They have apparently set up a situation where they're going to play each other the next couple years, I think.
3 years.
I think it's a 3-year series. And the other two are expected to be neutral sites as well. There is a lot of speculation, and I'm not a Scoops guy. You know this. But there is a lot, and I'm not reporting, and I didn't mean to set it up like that as though I am reporting.
Right.
I'm not. I'm just telling you what the speculation is. That I think there's an expectation the next year's game will be somewhere around Waco. It'll be a neutral site, but maybe they play it in like Dallas or some shit, and it's it's the same sort of feeling. there's speculation that the third year when Gonzaga and Baylor play, it could just be an outrageous
What do you mean?
neutral site. I mean, like, I have heard people mention Mexico City.
Oh, wow.
I have heard people mention, and this is the one that if I was a responsible journalist, I would just be like, probably not. But
Say it.
that's not really what this show is, so I'm just gonna fucking say it because I didn't hear this from like a viable source.
Right,
This is just like
This is
people,
fan
this
fiction.
is just
We're
people chattering. There is a fan fiction timeline where the Saudis are getting involved and they like play
love that.
They play like a game in fucking Saudi Arabia.
That's a win-win-win for everybody.
Or like in fucking Qatar or something. Or
Oh
like
my
fucking like there's a world where like they play like a game. Yeah, and I read that and I was like, there's no fucking way, but also who knows,
How cool
man?
would that
Probably.
People shit on like that whole Colorado report, like they reached out to Saudi Arabia and everything. Hey, if right now we talked about earlier in the show, if it's the wild wild west of who can get the most money,
it is absolutely coming.
Someone should partner with them.
At some point, word's gonna get to the Saudis that you can basically like donate a fuck ton of money to like Kansas basketball,
and people will love you.
They'll love you, and you'll make a fuck ton of money.
What would be the
They're gonna
funniest
Like, all
one?
right, done.
Like what if it's Gonzaga? All of a sudden,
Yeah.
like Gonzaga's always had to like recruit out there and not be in a major conference and everything, and all of a sudden Gonzaga has the Saudi
A
Arabian.
Jesuit school. I mean, like both of them would be funny. Baylor's a Baptist school.
Yeah.
Gonzaga's a Catholic school, and you just have like all these Saudis just being like, yeah, we fucking love the Baptists of Texas.
The Zags.
we love those Catholics in Eastern Washington. We fucking love them, dude. Can't get enough of them.
November 4th, though.
That's awesome. That's a way to start the season.
Soon.
I love this, and I love I love guys who don't schedule scared. And I want this to be commonplace, and there are a lot of guys that do it. Bill Self will play anybody, anytime, anywhere. Tom Izzo's the same way. We need more of it in college basketball. Even when we have a good amount of it, I still say we need more of it. I always want more of it. I want you got to have some cupcakes on the schedule, sure, but I love it when programs identify that this would be great for the sport, and most importantly, I love that this is a season opener because. That's what the Champions Classic. The Champions Classic used to be either a season opener for every team in it or like the second game, and they've kind of in recent years, and by recent years it feels like the last like 10 years, they've pushed it back a week or two to where it's still early in the season, but it's not like the immediate like hit you in the mouth. Right. College basketball is here.
This is the tip.
Yeah, this is the tip off, November 4th, and that's awesome, and I'm really excited. Is it actually the first? It's both of their first games for sure. November 4th is like everybody's first game. I'm trying to remember if it's literally the first night or if there's like a week 0 type equivalent. And no, it's Monday. No, Monday, November 4th is it's always on a Monday, right? They're not going to play.
Monday, November 4th is the first day.
Right. Yeah.
There's 1,000 games. There's no games on the Sunday before.
Right. Yeah. So that'll be the first night, and we'll get Gonzaga Baylor. That's the part that stood out to me the most. Gonzaga playing Baylor is awesome, and we should all celebrate it. Two awesome programs that are going to be good this year playing each other and stepping to the plate. But doing it the opening night is so awesome for college basketball.
I don't know why I just pointed so hard, but you know who else plays November? I looked at all the games. There's no huge games. Maine at Duke. We're 1 year away.
You know how awesome that would have been?
That would have been. Brother.
Well, I mean, the only reason Maine's playing at Duke is because of Cooper Flagg, so I guess that game wouldn't have happened unless he did go to Duke. But you know who else is playing November 4th?
Who's that?
Mississippi State and West Georgia, dude, and Starkville. It's a big one.
That is a big one.
I don't know. I just saw their schedule. I was talking to Brandon right before the show, and I was like, dude, what's West Georgia?
Well, that probably is a big one for Mississippi State these days.
No, they're gonna be good. B-Walk's gonna become a basketball fan.
B-Ball Walker.
Yeah, their football program is dog shit. He's gonna see the light that Mississippi State might be a basketball school now. All right, that's it. Practice starts next week. I think that's what the rule is now. Is it's 6 weeks? It used to be like mid-October, and I think it's now. I think practices start 6 weeks before your first game now, which is, I think next week. I think it's next week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Start of the season.
Which is 6 weeks, right?
Yeah,
40
days prior to the season.
Monday, September 23rd, which is next week. That's the start of practice. We'll have practice fired up. And we'll get some shit to talk about. I saw Fanta. I can't believe I was talking about the Rutgers stuff. I did see Fanta put out a 15 pounds of muscle tweet about Rutgers. I forget which player, but he's like, guy added 15 pounds of muscle. Like,
that gets your juices flowing.
It makes me so excited, dude. I love when guys shed pure fat and add pure muscle. It shows me that they're serious about their craft.
I need to do that.
All right, that's the show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Practice will get underway. Hopefully we got some nuggets coming out of practice. Not Denver Nuggets, but you know what I mean. Stuff to talk about is what I'm trying to say. Congrats to Woj on a great career. We're excited to have you in college basketball, and I can't wait to see what being the GM of St. Bonaventure does for the world of college basketball. All right, goodbye, everybody.